all the different groups. Okay, so I think we're streaming just about everywhere. So while that is all set up, we're also on Crowdcast. Thank you so much to everyone that has joined, wherever you're watching this, whether it's on Crowdcast, Twitter, YouTube, various Facebook groups. Thank you to Kurt Elster, who's letting us stream it in his unofficial Shopify podcast group. Jonathan Kennedy, who is letting us stream it in his Shopify Entrepreneurs group. It's also in the Bold Commerce Facebook group and on our Bold Commerce Facebook page. So wherever you are, feel free to post questions there. We're putting them all into one feed here so that we can see. And so I'm not jumping around to 10 different places, but we'll try to answer every question that we can. This is being recorded. I know that was a question that a lot of people had right off the bat. So as long as you're registered, we'll send a copy out to everyone. And I think it also auto replays on Facebook and YouTube as well too. So don't stress if you have to go to the bathroom or anything else while we're playing. So the reason we decided to do this was on Monday. A lot of you know we launched a new version of Bold Subscriptions that integrates with Shopify's checkout directly. And just to give a little bit of background on what that is it's actually a separate version of Bold Subscriptions. Previously, we were calling it Bold Subscriptions Pro. And since now our version 1, like the standard version that was available as of prior to last Monday, is no longer available through the Shopify App Store, we're just calling this new version just Bold Subscriptions because there's only one available on Shopify. So Bold Subscriptions Pro, which is now Bold Subscriptions V2, has actually been out for a little while. It's been available on other platforms. It's been available on BigCommerce and the headless space. So it's not brand new, but it's brand new to the Shopify platform, integrated into Shopify's native checkout. We built this version to be a very developer-friendly version. And the reason why we started developing it a couple of years ago is we saw partners really wanting the flexibility with APIs and webhooks to build really custom subscription experiences for their customers. So our version 1 of Bold Subscriptions has had a lot of out-of-the-box functionality. This new version, it's fully functional out of the box. It works great. Actually, I'll do a little walkthrough here in a second. It works completely fine out of the box, but it's where its strength really shines is in its APIs and its flexibility. So for developers and designers and partners, you'll have a lot more control eventually. Now, there are limitations to what can be done still, but it's already, as far as on the development side, quite flexible. And yeah, so that's a bit of a philosophy behind it. Did I cover that well, JP? By the way, I should introduce JP.
Yeah, no, I think
this is JP.
You hit the nail on the head. Yeah, it is definitely more API driven, lots of webhooks, kind of geared towards flexibility as opposed to a lot of out of the box functionality. And yeah, as Jay was saying, I'm the lead product manager for Bold Subscriptions. Hi, everyone. This is JP. He knows far more than I do, but I'm the one that knows how to set up the live webinars, I guess. So I get roped into these. Yeah, so why don't we just jump in? Let me share my screen here. And I know some of you have seen this, and then we've got a ton of questions. I'm gonna just quickly kind of show how it works. I think that'll also spur some questions too. So let me pop open this window. You all should be able to be seeing it now. JP, you got a thumbs up? You can see it? You bet. Okay, so let me actually jump in. I've got just a bit of a demo store here, Jay's Killer Coffee. And so what it looks like, actually, let me show you a product that has it on. So when Bold Subscriptions on, it kind of has a nice, clean, out-of-the-box styling. This is actually the default style that it looks like. You can change this, but this is the default style out of the box when you add a subscription to a product. You can buy them as one time. You can buy them as subscription. You can set any frequency you want. So in the back end, I've set up a couple different ones here, every 1 month, every 2 months. I can add every 2 months to the cart. I can add every 1 month to the cart. I can add one time to the cart. And these can all be in the cart. And now when I go to the cart, you can see I have the same coffee as a one-time order, as an every month order, as an every 2 month order. I can add a different product that's not the same product. Like this coffee here doesn't have any subscription options on it. I can add this to the cart. So now when I go to the cart, I've got multiple products, some with subscriptions, different frequencies of subscriptions.
and then the same product that is a subscription, but not the subscription. And now when I go to checkout, it's going to go through Shopify's native checkout. So this is Shopify's checkout, and I've got. Let me actually. I'll just go ahead and complete this order here. This is a dev shop. So now when I go continue to shipping, and so now because this is in Shopify's checkout, it syncs with your. Well, we always did sync with Shopify shipping, but makes it a little bit more seamless, I guess. So all your standard rules in Shopify, your shipping, your taxes. Really any logic you have set up for your cart would apply. So let's actually go ahead and check out here. And this is a dev shop, so I can enter my dummy code here. John Smith. By the way, if you're ever testing on our demo store, you just enter these details and you can check out to try it. The one thing that Shopify did add now is I understand I'm agreeing to a subscription. So this is going to be a new thing you'll see on your checkout when it is a subscription order. And then when I go to pay, it's just going through Shopify standard checkout, and it will create a one-time order for the initial order with all the products in it. And then in the future, it will create subscriptions for this every month, this one every 2 months, and it won't create subscriptions for these, but these will all ship on the initial order. So in the back end, what it looks like to create that is, this is the Bolt subscription app. I'm actually going to go, when you log in, this is what you're presented with. You see a bit of a dashboard and some charts. This is a demo store, so it doesn't really have much information here yet, but this is kind of your command center to see your churn rate and your trends and everything else. You can see your customers, you can edit your customers, you can edit their subscriptions. There's a full, for your customer service team to be able to pause, edit, skip, change credit card, change products, literally everything. If I go to subscription groups, let's actually just create one on that Boo Brew that we just saw. So I'm going to call this my Boo Brew subscription. You can call it anything. This is just an internal name. And then you can select which products you want to be in there. So you can manually select a product. And this is something I think is really powerful with Bolt subscriptions. You can also select by various filters. So this store doesn't have a ton of filters, but if I had a lot of collections, maybe you want subscriptions on all of your coffee or all of your drinks or all of your vitamins or all whatever. So you can apply it with basically one group to the entire collection, to the entire vendor, certain product type. So you can filter by that as well too, or you can handpick which product. So in this case, let's just do this Boo Brew, this one. And then I say, what frequency options do I want on here? So I can do a month, and I can call this just every month, or something that's kind of new to this one that's out of the box. Well, I guess you could do this in V1 as well too, but it's a little more upfront here, is a specific day of the month. So if I want this to ship on the 15th of every month, the order would ship today, and then all orders going forward on the 15th. So then I could call this frequency every month on the 15th. So I'll save this frequency, and then I'll create another frequency every week. And I could do this quarterly. So orders created every 3 months on a certain date. So I'll just call this one quarterly and save that. And I'll just make one more. Call this one weekly, every 1 week. Weekly. You can create as many of these as you want. I won't spend too much time on those. And then you can decide if you want to give it a discount. Do I want to give a % off, a dollar amount off? JP, does V1 support dollar off? Is that a new thing?
That is I believe it's a new thing. No, I don't think we have that in V1 today.
Okay. So then dollar off. I guess one thing to keep in mind with this is if you're applying this to a collection, no matter what the product is, if it's all coffees, if the coffee is $5 or $30 and I do $5 off, it's going to be the same across every product. Whereas if I do percentage off, if I do 5, or 10% off, it'll be 10%. So it'll be a different amount off per product.
Yeah, it's better if you had a kind of a single product or a kind of group of products with the same price when you want to do a fixed amount off. But yeah, generally percentage is what people go with.
Cool. So then we'll save it and we're done. Now, the only thing you have to do to make it live is flip it live. So I've got, actually, let's just find that product here. So the product that we just applied that to is my Boo Brew. You can tell we made this demo store on Halloween. So I don't have subscriptions on here right now. I'm going to flip that one on, which takes literally a second, and it should be on right away if I come back here and refresh. Sometimes it takes 5 minutes. It's on right away. And now I have the options there. So I have my subscribe and save 10%, and then those 3 different options that I made for every month on the 15th, quarterly, weekly, whatever I want. So now those are all options on there as well too. Yeah, so that's kind of it in a nutshell. There's, well, you know what? The only other thing that I think a lot of people ask about is how customers can manage their subscriptions. So I'll jump in the back here too. I think I'm logged in as a test. Yeah, so this is just a dummy account. It's got a bunch of subscriptions in here, but this would be one subscription, and generally customers are going to have one. This test account has a bunch, but they can literally do everything. So they can oops, that takes me to the product. If they want to change the frequency, so whatever this subscription has for options, they'll show here. If there's 10 different frequency options, then there would be 10 options. This one just has 2. Do I want to edit future orders, pause future orders? I can easily do that up there. I can edit my payment information, change my address, change the credit card, change shipping address, change products in my subscription if there are other products in the group, correct, JP?
That's right. Yep, you could swap within the subscription group.
So that Boo Brew that I just created has no other products in that group, so that one wouldn't have any products it could swap with. But if I made a subscription group for all coffee and I have 50 types of coffee in my store, the customer could come in here and swap it with another coffee in that subscription group.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can manage my upcoming orders if I want to skip certain shipments, see order history, and then of course this one doesn't have order history yet, and then I can cancel my subscription. So there's some control in the back end what customers can do, and then as a merchant, so let me just pop open a example here. So this is what it would look like in the back end. It's actually very similar. So your customer service team basically can do anything as well too. So when a customer calls in and wants to edit a subscription or change something, they have full control as well too. There's some other stuff in here, but I won't jump into everything unless there's anything I should highlight, JP.
No, I mean, I think those are the high level things, the activity log, sure, just to show how we were kind of keeping track of everything that's going on. So you always know what's going on with your subscriptions. But no, I think those are the high level ones.
Yeah, the activity log is nice for like anytime something changes or something, like if a customer calls in and needs details on a subscription, you can kind of go through and see what something was at any time. So yeah, okay. So we've got a ton of questions here. So why don't we, I guess, start from the top. I'm going to start with, there's a few ones that have probably been asked the most. I guess, okay, so the first question is, I understand there are different versions between the 2 subscriptions app. Can you explain the differences? We touched a little bit on that in the beginning. So yes, there is a new V2, and that's the current version that's live. JP, do you want to walk through some of the key differences between the 2 and considerations?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think there are kind of 5 really high level differences that I'll talk to. The first one, as I think everybody understands, is the checkout, right? So we no longer have a bulk checkout for subscriptions. Everything is going through the Shopify checkout. So that means any integration that works with the Shopify checkout will work out of the box. Eventually, Shopify scripts is going to work. I know Shopify is working hard to add as much compatibility as possible, so that's only going to get better. As Jay mentioned, APIs. So we do have, we're actually offering APIs and webhooks to all merchants right now. And we've got our developer portal where you can get some good documentation. You can just use APIs to kind of query the app and get information, or you can build a full-on integration to do some more advanced functionality. I think we touched on this a bit, but the storefront integration is a little bit different. So typically what would happen is we would load a script on the storefront every time a subscription product loads. That would kind of ship our default widget, and it would always hit our server every time that page loads. Today we're doing things a little bit differently. So upon installation, we give you essentially some liquid, a bit of JavaScript and CSS that is your widget, and you can do whatever you want with that. So you can easily change colors, wording. You can change it all together just using the out-of-the-box liquid language that Shopify offers. So that's a big change. In terms of features that aren't moving over right out of the bat or right off the bat. I know
Can I just
Build-A-Box.
touch on that 1 second,
Yeah.
JP? Because there was a couple questions I saw coming in while I was just walking through the demo. Some people were asking about styling, editing, stuff like that. So now that's just done in Shopify liquid files. They can control it, everything there.
Yeah, absolutely. So all of the essentially when we're applying a subscription to a product, we're actually modifying selling plan data on Shopify, and that data is all available via Liquid. So you can build a completely customized widget and not worry about the one that we provide out of the box.
Gotcha. And then I guess someone was asking about APIs. I could just probably pull up under. So if you head to developers.boldcommerce.com, all of the APIs are there. There's a few that are highlighted, but you can access all of them. So the one that says subscriptions pro is, I guess we could, we're still calling it. Yeah. So, but that's the APIs for this version 2, the current version that's live. And I, right now, like this is open. I think something unique, and is our APIs, are they accessible for everyone right now, JP?
Yeah, absolutely. They are. You can go ahead and create an API key as soon as you install.
Which is, I think, something unique. Like a lot of times APIs are something that's charged for. We're making ours accessible. I don't guarantee it'll be that way forever. It might be, we don't know, but for now it is. But anyone that's using them, nothing will change. Everyone would be continue to use them anyway. But poke around in here, you'll see everything you can do as far as like updating subscriptions, adding to subscriptions, changing orders, updating payment, changing the customer. It's really, you'll start to think about how you can create custom experiences. Like someone could build a subscription experience into an SMS text message where through the APIs, you could text message a customer. Customer could, do you want to add a product to the order? Do an API call, add it to that subscription. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, JP, but that functionality all is completely possible now.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
I do want to mention if you are a developer or an agency and you want kind of a couple of development stores to get free access to the app, just send an email to partners@boldcommerce.com. And they'll give you a hand, and then you'll get kind of a free installation on your store. So that's a good place to start if you want to test these out.
Cool. I see Tom Brown in here. So Tom Brown, we're expecting you to build some cool stuff. So, okay, next question. I'm using Bold Subscriptions V1. This is a super common one. Bold Subscriptions V1, can I upgrade to V2?
Yeah, so it is a really important question. For now, it's a resounding not yet. It's something that we're working on as quickly as we can. There are going to be a couple of caveats when it is available. So initially, only merchants using Stripe payment gateway will be eligible to migrate over to the new app. This is just something that is kind of being made available from Shopify right now. There's a chance that might change in the future, but today it will be Stripe merchants only. We're hoping. Sorry, go ahead.
No, nothing. I was going to say, I'm not sure where I should post this link because there's all the different Facebook groups and everything else going. I'll post it for sure in Crowdcast here. But the page that you're seeing right now, what we're telling everyone to go to this page, enter their information, and then as soon as, because I guess there's like various types of migrations. It depends what payment gateway you're using. It depends what like how your subscriptions are set up on V1. There might be people that are super simple, right? Like if they have a very simple subscription, they're using Stripe and they haven't really done much modifications, those will probably be the first wave.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
then it'll yeah.
So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's just, if anyone's interested, make sure they're on that list.
Yeah, no, exactly. So we are going to be proactively notifying merchants when their scenario is available for a migration. I do want to stress it is an optional migration at the moment. So if you're happy using V1 and things are running smoothly, there is no reason to move to V2 unless there is something really specific that you're looking for. As Jake said, it definitely will be the more simple scenarios. So if you have regular subscribe and save, maybe some prepaid, but nothing too different from our out of the box. That will definitely be the easier migration to begin with. Same with migrations from other apps. If anybody is wanting to get onto the Shopify checkout and they can't for whatever reason, we'll be allowing Stripe merchants to migrate. We're hoping as soon as possible. So we'll be announcing that for sure. I don't have a date today, but I can tell you that we're working on it right now.
Awesome. And we'll definitely do everything we can to get the word out, and people that kind of fill out that, we'll make sure that they're at the top of the list as well too. And then someone's saying, I guess this is similar. If I'm using Recharge or any other competitor, can I migrate? And that would just be the same as above. It's going to kind of go in waves depending on the setup, what payment gateway is using, everything else. Make sure you're on the list and we'll get you on there too. Are there any limitations with the new version of Shopify checkout that I guess I'm saying like that they need to be aware of?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. So definitely a couple of things that have not moved over yet. Some things that we won't be moving over for some time. So Build-A-Box being one of those. So if you're looking for Build-A-Box, version 1 is, or hang on to version 1, I should say. In the future, we're looking at a new kind of version of that called Subscription Builder that I think is going to be really great. But it's going to be some time before we get that out. And then a bit of other functionality that we were hoping to launch with, but it's coming quite quickly. So things like prepaid subscriptions will be out, we hope, in a matter of weeks. A couple of additional settings that I think our merchants are often looking for, like customer tagging, just some advanced settings that they might be looking for. You may not find in V2 yet, but those kinds of things are coming. I think those are the big limitations. I know convertible subscriptions won't be available out of the box, but that's something that you can pretty easily do using our APIs and webhooks. So a lot of things like that you can still do. It just won't be available quite as out of the box.
Yeah, I think that's something I just want to iterate too, that I think the way that this version was built was to at first build it so developers can do anything they want with the APIs with a very solid, robust, out of the box solution that isn't maybe like as feature rich out of the box as the previous version, and then start to layer in some of those out of the box functionality. But I think we're going to see how people use it too. So someone like a developer could build a subscription Build-A-Box experience where they're adding multiple items to a subscription, creating a subscription group, and that can all be done through the APIs. Someone could build a custom page, design that page any way you want, pick 5 items, create subscription group through the APIs, and then create that order. It's just not out of the box where you can, it's like there's a subscription module, but it's almost 50-50. Like I'm thinking about our Build-A-Box module with version 1, and probably 50% of the people that used it, it wasn't like the exact way that they wanted to use it. So they would almost rather have the APIs anyway. So we'll see how it goes. And I'm excited to see how people use these APIs. And cause like, with an agency or developer, you can build any experience you want. So I'm going to pop a couple questions coming in. I've got a long list over here that came in already, but I'll pop to a couple live ones.
Yeah.
Is V1 version still secure? Are there any concerns just because that version isn't live anymore?
Yeah, no, not at all. So everything should be exactly the same as it was before Monday. That version is still being supported. We still have developers. It still works as intended. So there's no concerns. We'll still continue to kind of make minor adjustments, bug fixes, little small features, things like that. So if you're on V1, you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, and I want to be clear too. There's 15,000 stores using version 1. So by no means are we going to deprecate that anytime soon. It would definitely only be when there's a completely easy path to the new version and no functionality is lost for any store. So that nothing for anyone to worry about there. What's the biggest benefit, JP, in your opinion, of when migrations become possible of switching from V1 to V2?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on what your needs are. If you're looking for more flexibility, I think the APIs are going to be a big bonus. Obviously, for customers and for merchants, having that single checkout, I think, is going to be a real bonus. I think those are the two obvious ones. It is a brand new app. It's been rewritten kind of from the ground up, so it is just a really solid, secure app. V1 is an amazing app. We've had a good 5 years of tweaking that one, but this one is just kind of rewritten, kind of brand new. So I think there's a lot of benefits that come from that, just in terms of speed and overall functionality.
Yeah, and one thing I would add to that is because of the nature of with V1 using a separate checkout, it did cause some it made things more challenging to integrate with some other apps, some reporting tools, some analytic tools. So like we had to integrate those one by one into the subscriptions checkout. So I think now with Bold subscriptions version 2 going through Shopify checkout, a lot of that stuff will be a lot easier. So like even things like your affiliate tools and your referral stuff, like some like or your scripts you might have on your thank you page, that you don't have to duplicate some of that, pixels for Facebook, that kind of stuff. Like some of that will be a little bit more seamless. We don't fully know. And we haven't like tested all 5,400 and something apps in the App Store to see if they all just work now because it's working with Shopify checkout. But we know for sure that like a lot more apps will just work because they work with checkout. And actually just give you an example. Jordan Gal at CartHook was asking us yesterday if CartHooks works with both subscriptions, and I actually installed it last night and tried it out, and it works flawlessly. So, upselling after checkout now, it used to be you had to use Bold Upsell with Bold Checkout, and we'll always be big proponents of Bold Upsell, but if you don't use Bold Upsell, that's okay. And if you use, CartHook or Zipperify or something else, those will now work seamlessly with Bold subscriptions too. And ultimately, whatever gives your customers the best experience, we want you to use. And now subscriptions works well with that. So, couple more coming in. Would love to know how it integrates with digital products that are subscription services.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. That is something that we're doing as kind of a fast follow to launch. So today, we're not compatible with digital products. We just need to make a few tweaks in our app to allow there to not kind of need a shipping address or shipping information. So that's coming pretty soon. So today, not compatible, but I would give it maybe 2 to 4 weeks, and it should be good to go.
So if someone is using like a one of the apps for digital delivery, I haven't tested that either myself. I'm wondering if it might just work though.
Well, so it depends on whether you mean a product that in Shopify you know that is not physical, or if you're using kind of a file delivery after checkout. I would imagine that the file delivery would work fine because it just uses kind of a standard product. But I believe that the other way around wouldn't. So worth testing. I know that it's on our list of things to confirm soon.
Yeah, definitely worth testing. I mean, there's half a dozen digital delivery apps in the App Store, and they all kind of do it a little bit of a different way. But definitely check it. I mean, if they just link to the order, there's an order webhook, orders create, and if that digital delivery app then delivers the file every time an order generates, and it's linked to a physical product, that might work perfect. That might work perfectly fine. So it depends on how the delivery, I think, is happening. So, does it work with Bold custom pricing? I'm assuming someone's saying, does it work with custom pricing? So we have a custom pricing app that does VIP pricing, changes prices. I don't see why not.
I think the only thing to watch for is that I know that the new selling plans are not yet compatible with draft orders. That's something that Shopify is working on. I don't know that they've given a specific date yet, but as soon as it does work with draft orders, then any Bold app using draft orders should be compatible with subscriptions. So I guess it would depend on the version that you're using. Jay, you probably know more about that app than I do.
Yeah, there's a version that uses it. The original version, it creates extra variants for the different prices, which they're actual Shopify variants. There's of course pros and cons to that, but the pro is it works seamlessly with other apps. Then the second version of custom pricing is it uses draft orders and the draft order API to change the prices. There was a third version with Bold Checkout, but that's you'd have to be using Bold Checkout for that one. But with Shopify Checkout, it's just those two. And yeah, you would know better. I guess draft orders with subscriptions is not a thing yet.
Not yet. So that's one where we don't have much control over. We're just waiting for it to be compatible. So as soon as Shopify says that we're good, then we'll give it a shot.
Cool. Any updates or info on page speed with changes with the new?
Yeah, so I guess it depends on kind of what you're saying is slowing down the page. I know that obviously there are some calls to the bold servers every time pages load. So that is for the widget anyways, that's no longer required. So certainly fewer calls. So I would imagine you could see some improvements there. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we can check it out. It seems very quick. But all the tests like I'm doing are simple subscriptions, but I guess it depends how you build it out. But yeah. Someone's asking, what does support look like currently? Currently, they currently have to pay with recharge to get timely ticket support. Do you have technical support via text, phone, email? We did not plant this question, I promise. No, we have full support. You don't have to pay for it. We have all kinds of levels of support from onboarding specialists. So when you sign up with the app, if you need onboarding, like how to use the app, walk through it. We have a merchant success team that will help you with any questions related to just like general support. We have a tier 2 team. So let's say you install the app and it's conflicting with some JavaScript of another app, and there's some weird thing like your add to cart button doesn't show or something like that. I don't think of a good example, but that's where the tier 2 team would step in. And then depending on your size, if you're actually like a large subscription brand, we have dedicated account managers that will work with you. And that's a much more hands-on approach. They'll actually, I think they set up like weekly or bi-weekly. They're like basically helping you strategize with your business and continually audit things as well too. So yeah, a ton of different support, and we don't charge for it.
Yes. I've seen a couple of questions about the MSP. I want to kind of jump in on that really quickly.
Yeah.
So the MSP.
Do you want me to pull it up?
Sure. Yeah. The customer portal, whatever you want to call it. So it is very similar to the version 1, not identical. So we don't yet have many actual styling customizations, although you can add some styling to this actual page, which will get inherited. Our portal is essentially all built using our APIs. We're in the process right now of having kind of a more basic template MSP using our APIs that you can either fork or get a copy of and create your own. So it is still possible. CSS should be possible right off the bat. Other customizations for now will require kind of a fully customized portal. And we'll have some documents available on the developer portal very soon. I think if you go there today, you'll see that it's coming soon. So it should be coming pretty quickly. So hopefully that
one thing that's I like about the MSP on the new version is it's an actual page within Shopify. So if I go to the store and I go to pages, because a lot of people using version 1, it takes them to an offsite. I don't know what the URL is, but it's an offsite page to manage. And then when they click on it comes back to the site. But I know a lot of merchants sometimes complained about that because it felt like it was a little bit outside. And I know like when we built that in 2014 or 15, we weren't able, for security reasons, we weren't able to authenticate through the customer account on Shopify, but now we're able to do that, so we can keep everything seamless. So this page is just a page. It's a regular page in Shopify. The only thing is it's in the source here, you'll see this, the HTML, you'll see this added to it. So you could add this anywhere to a menu item. You could add this in your footer. I would actually encourage it. I would like have up here, like manage subscriptions. You can add some logic that if a customer's logged in, it shows or doesn't show based by whatever. But JP, could you add this, or would that be like to any page, or does it have to live on this page?
Yeah, so on any page, we do have a kind of one script that loads all the time that watches for that div. And if we see the customer portal root div, we'll go ahead and replace that with the entire portal. So yeah, you could build a totally customized page. You could have some offers towards the top, do whatever you want, and then have the portal load right below that. So it definitely adds a bit of flexibility there.
Cool. So basically take that div and slap it anywhere. It can be on could it be on a collection page? Or I don't know if that makes sense, but you could embed products on the page, put any information that's like exclusive to subscription members on that page. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, cool.
I know Carlos had a couple of MSP questions. The version 1 that we have on GitHub, it is not going to be compatible with this one, just because it's completely new APIs, a completely new app. The underlying APIs are different, so that version will not work with this version.
Okay. Questions coming out all over the place. I'm going to jump to a couple over here. What's the difference between a subscription app integrated with Shopify and not? So
Yeah.
I guess I can speak to this one. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah,
well,
ahead.
there was a couple. This came from. So if you go in the Shopify App Store and you click on, there's a new collection now that says works with checkout, as far as subscriptions go, and it's Bold and Recharge and Paywhirl are the three that work with checkout. But there are some other subscription apps. I know Spur IT is one, and I can't remember the other one. I can't remember the one.
Oro, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Essentially, they all they don't have their own checkout, so they're not still circumventing the checkout using their own checkout, but they create the subscription another way. So I know one of them, the only way they do the subscription is if you buy like a year. So it's really just a one-time order. So, but you check out, you pay $100 for a subscription that's like $20 a month or whatever. But you check out, you pay $100, and then the app creates the orders for the next year. It's not actually subscription billing. I know there's another one that you pay for the first month, and then every month it sends a payment link, and then the customer clicks the link, pays for the order, and then it creates the order, which I guess works, but I don't know, you probably higher churn if you have to enter your payment every month. So those ones are not, I guess the reason for the question was that someone's wondering, like, are they still using a separate checkout? None of them are using a separate checkout. They're just doing it in kind of a different way. So can I still get Bold subscriptions V1?
No. So Shopify has. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No. I mean, unless there's an extreme scenario that Shopify approves it, but other than that, no. Yeah.
Yeah. In general, I think it's going to be a no. Essentially, anybody who wasn't using the Shopify checkout, their apps have been disabled, so it's not currently possible.
What happens if I uninstall Bold subscriptions V1?
Yeah, please don't. Please don't. If you have, especially if you have active subscriptions, so you will not be able to reinstall the app. All of your subscriptions will stop working, and you won't be able to migrate to V2. So we definitely don't recommend you do that.
Yeah, and I don't know for sure, but I mean, I assume if there's Shopify might make an exception, but I don't want to. I agree with JP. Just don't install it. Don't uninstall it until you know for sure that everything is set up and working on version 2. And yeah, is Build-A-Box and convertible subscriptions going to be available in the near future?
Yeah,
I guess you talked a little bit about this, but fully answer.
Not fully out of the box. We do have a module coming called Subscription Builder that we hope is available on the Shopify checkout in the future. I don't have a date for that yet. Convertible subscriptions, not specifically, though you can use APIs and webhooks to essentially swap out the product after the initial order, which is essentially what Convertible does. So you can solve that problem, just not out of the box.
Gotcha. A couple questions coming in over here. How will discounts be structured, i.e. right now on version 1 and discounts don't port over? Thank God. We don't offer discounts on subscriptions as they already subscribe and save. However, questions come in bumping this question up. However, with the regular checkout on the new Bold, how do we differentiate between single product discounts and exclude the discount from applying to subscribers and save on products? I haven't actually looked with Shopify discount codes. Is there any way, like, you can, is there any way in there to restrict them from a subscription product as of right now?
Why don't you, you want to load the admin and just go to discounts?
Oh, sounds like you know something I don't.
Maybe. So if you create a new discount.
Okay.
Discount code. And then, so in the purchase type, you've got subscription now, so that's new.
What's our discount type? Were we?
Purchase type subscription. Oh. Yeah, so you can actually
look at that
apply to subscriptions. You can decide if it only applies to subscription products or everything in the cart. You can decide how many orders the discount will apply to. So any kind of discounting, we've kind of we're kind of looking at Shopify too now. The subscribe and save discount is still going to be configured in the Bold subscriptions app. But yeah, theoretically, both could apply to the same checkout.
And you can even specify all subscription products in a certain collection or specific products.
Yeah.
One time. So this will be great for anyone who is using V2 on, Black Friday when they have discount codes, but they are offering like something substantial for subscribers, like subscribe and save 30%, but then they have a 25% off code for one-time orders. Then where did you say, minimum? You said you can control it if it's only the first time or ongoing, or is it? So if if I use a 10% coupon code here, is it just for the first time order or every order forward?
If you scroll down a little bit more with subscription selected, I believe they've got an option for, keep going. There's eligibility, usage limits. One per customer, number of times. So that would basically say how many subscription orders that discount applies to. And then you can say limit to the first payment, limit to recurring payments. So they've got a lot of options here.
I'm glad I learned something new.
There you go.
This went live on Monday as well too, with the new subscriptions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Someone's asking, are we going to have, I guess this is off of your Build-A-Box question, are we going to have Build-A-Box that can be purchased once?
Yeah, the new module would allow for that. Yes.
Okay. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, so kind of just a custom builder for an order, not specifically a subscription one. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so that you'll have the option to build and then buy one time, or build and buy or purchase as a subscription.
It'll be possible. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Will payment gateways other than Shopify payments be implemented in the future?
Sorry, payment gateways?
Yeah.
So we hope so. Yeah, no, that's kind of totally up to Shopify right now. I know they've indicated that they plan on adding support for, I think, one payment gateway that might help for any merchants who wouldn't be supported by Shopify payments. So whether that's because you're in a country that doesn't support it, or you're selling goods that isn't supported, so that should be available. I'm guessing probably early next year, but I don't know. Also, they've kind of talked about potentially adding support for some kind of wallet pay or another quick pay option. So no details there, but I'm sure we'll share it as soon as we know.
Yeah, it's in Shopify's court, not ours. I feel like they will, because there are a certain percentage of merchants that can't use Shopify payments because of what they sell. Like, for example, if you sell, the skinny teas or the vitamins, like that have a certain, or vapes, or like vitamins that claim that you might lose weight, or like Shopify payments has a little bit of a more rigid guidelines on what you can and can't sell. So there's some people that have to use different gateways, or certain countries. I mean, Shopify payments just isn't available. So I imagine they will. We don't know exactly which ones and which in order. I would guess authorized would probably be the next one, if it is, because that tackles probably a large chunk, but we don't know for sure.
Yeah, it would be logical, but no, I can't say for sure.
Yeah. Why is migration not available at this point of time? And can we migrate from another platform such as BigCommerce, WooCommerce, or custom stores made like on Squarespace, etc.?
Yeah, so we covered this a little bit before. Essentially, if so today we don't accept migrations. We hope to accept migrations shortly. To begin with, it will only be Stripe payment gateways. So it could be another app on Shopify. It could be another platform. But it would have to be a Stripe payment gateway for the foreseeable future. So if Shopify opens up migrations for other gateways, we'll let you know. But today it will be Stripe only.
So it's not so much the problem of moving from another platform; it's the gateway. So as long as they're using Stripe right now, we know for sure that'll be the first one.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yep. Okay. Cool. I am a Plus merchant looking to launch subscriptions. Can I use version 2? Yeah,
absolutely. The short answer is yes.
Yeah.
Obviously, it comes with a couple of caveats today. So it requires that you use the default checkout.liquid. It's not currently compatible with the storefront API if you're building out your storefront that way. But it sounds like a lot of those limitations will be going away fairly soon. So if you're planning on a launch in, let's say, the next couple of months, I'd say there's a fairly good chance that will be an option for you.
Yeah. And I think, sorry, you might have mentioned this. I was reading some questions. Did you mention scripts? I think is that supported yet or not yet?
I'm fairly certain it's not supported yet, but I think it's coming.
Yeah. Also, just keep in mind for everyone too, like this is still technically it's launched, but I mean, it's launched as of 3 days ago. I think it's kind of still beta, even though it is live. Shopify is very actively working on a lot of this. And I think in a couple months, a lot of this stuff will be addressed, but they wanted to get it out. It was either launch it now or wait until the new year, because basically everyone's going into a code freeze now over the holidays. So if it didn't get out now, it wasn't going to be until January. So there's a lot of work going on. And I think post holidays, there'll be some massive updates that address a lot of the stuff. So,
yeah.
Next question. Does version 2 work with page builder apps like GemPages, Shogun, etc. to modify the widget?
Yeah, it was a good question. I wish I'd had a bit more time to do some research before the webinar. I haven't tested it. I know that all those apps will have to do is kind of have essentially a default widget that handles the selling plan information, and then they will automatically be compatible. But I haven't confirmed that they're ready for that yet or not.
Yeah, I haven't tested it yet either. So I know you for sure should be able to build an experience using the APIs, but to have it kind of more as a simple integration, it would be cool to see some of these page builders build the ability to just pull in a subscription on a page if they want to build like a landing page, which maybe they can do already. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, if they just built a kind of a little component or a widget that did display selling plan information if it was available, then theoretically they would allow it to work.
Yeah. Eric has a good question. Is it going to be available to install on a dev store anytime soon?
Yeah.
Send up. Go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry, I'll mention this again. If you are a dev store or a partner, send an email to partners@boldcommerce.com. Tell them what your dev store is and what your email address is, and they'll get your app whitelisted or your store whitelisted so that you can install it at no charge.
Yeah, and that's just a reminder. I'm going to make sure our partner team sends that messaging out. I think they might have, but maybe not everyone saw it. Because most of our apps, and the reason Eric's probably asking this, is a lot of Bold apps, if you have a dev store, you can just go in the app store and install them, and it's actually free. It's a test charge while the store is a dev store. And then when that store is converted to a live store, then it triggers the standard trial and payment and everything else. But they can use Bold apps for free while they're in a dev environment. That functionality is not built yet into the new Bold subscriptions, but as JP mentioned, we can whitelist any dev store for any partner, just email partners. So Ed says, this is great. Thanks, Ed. I'm currently weighing up the increase in cost as a result of moving to Shopify payments. This is pretty significant. Yeah. Stripe versus Shopify, 1.4 versus 1.9, etc. Seems expensive. Yep. I guess there's not a question. That's more of a statement. I don't know. Yeah. It's, you know what? It's one of those, you can talk to Shopify. I don't know how they negotiate rates and at what volumes. Maybe that's something they can help you with. Will this recording be provided? Yes, definitely will, Monica. Someone's asking, does Bold have an app for post-purchase upsell? I can take that one. We do, but it's not currently working. It doesn't currently work with Shopify checkout. It only works with Bold checkout, which is not currently available to the masses on Shopify. Shopify, it's kind of the Bold checkout, formerly known as Cashier. If you have it works fine, but for any new stores, that it's really just a one-off basis that is approved. It's not available in bulk, or however you want to say that anymore. That said, Shopify did release the ability to do post-purchase upsells in their new checkout, and CartHook and Zipify have launched it. So we will, Bold, that's something that Bold will add. We weren't part of the beta. Bold was part of the subscriptions beta. I think they only wanted a couple partners. I think there was only like 5 or 6 partners as part of the beta, and they only wanted a couple partners in each section. And so which makes total sense. So it's not currently functional, but as soon as I think, JP, is it like January that's going to be opening up?
I think the API is kind of the 2021-01 release candidate API goes live. So yeah, January 1.
So look for it then. How can I customize the widget on my store? Well, JP, you touched on that earlier a bit, right? Just straight through the Liquid, or?
Yeah. There's 2 things you can do. There's a Shopify blog post that talks about all the Liquid that you would need to do a custom widget. We also have a Help Center article if you go to support.boldcommerce.com about how to kind of customize the Bold out-of-the-box Liquid. So you can go ahead and make text changes, color changes. You can create your own if you want. So it's totally up to you.
Okay. Someone's asking, and actually, Elvis, I just noticed this morning too. Currently, Shopify has disabled the option to enable or disable the password in a dev store. That makes it not possible to test payments in version 1 when the password is enabled. Will this remain the same in V2? So this store that I just ran through here is, you can still see my screen. Yeah. This store actually has a password on it. And I place ordered, I think this was the one I used in the demo. So you can place orders perfectly fine with V2 with the password enabled. It's the standard Shopify payments information. So it's 4242 16 times. You just have to enter a expiry date that's anytime in the future and any 3-digit code, and you can test it. I actually just noticed that this morning as well too. The dev shops are no longer allowed to remove a password on a dev shop. So it was interesting. So, but that's not a version an issue in V2. I'm just pulling up the other questions here. What third-party apps does the new version have an integration with? Can I use Zapier or Zapier? I say Zapier, or any other store pickup apps for subscriptions?
Yeah, so I mean, our app, because of the Shopify checkout, integrates with virtually any app that integrates with Shopify's checkout. I will mention that local pickup, I believe, is one thing that is not yet compatible on Shopify's end. So I'm honestly not sure if they're planning on opening that up, but that will not be available today. But other than that, any kind of app like your Klaviyo's or anything that kind of tags on any data from the checkout should work just out of the box.
Okay. A couple more coming in here, which I will load those ones up. Cannot see them coming there. Gift subscriptions. Is there, what would that just be?
Yeah, I mean, nothing today. So we're going to be focusing on getting prepaid out first, and typically gifting is kind of related to prepaid somehow. So once we're done prepaid, we'll look at that. I know there are a handful of things that we do want to get out pretty quickly. So I don't think gifting is at the top of the list right now, but we were definitely thinking about some kind of a gifting module. I just don't have a timeline right now. Yeah,
and I guess simple gifting where an order is automatically canceled, like this would be a very simple API build to cancel a subscription after amount. But like, I think out of the box gifting is a bigger thing where I know we've talked about, what does that mean? Is that, so you buy a gift, does there need to be some kind of handshake between the giver and the receiver? So like if I buy a 12-month subscription of magazines for my wife, at the end of 12 months, does she get an email that now she can enter her credit card information and continue the subscription? Does it automatically cancel? Like there's a lot that can go into gifting. Sometimes people want the first order of the gift to ship to them. So they, like if it's Christmas, I get the first one. I can give JP his monthly cologne and I say, JP, you're great. Here's your cologne. And then surprise, for the next year, you'll be getting cologne every month. Not that you need it, but so there's a lot of considerations to that as well too, and I think that would be a full gifting module. That's
right. I mean, we would like to build it properly. I know the one that we have in V1, it works, and you can send a prepaid subscription to somebody, and that's great. But yeah, definitely, we'd like to kind of build it from the ground up and really rethink all the possibilities, and then launch something really great.
Yeah. Someone's asking, does the new version impact on site speed?
Yeah,
it's better, but there's talked about already. Can you change the display language? Would that be done in Liquid, or is that not adjustable yet?
So there aren't a lot of kind of language touch points right now. So the widget is obviously the key one. You can go in and modify the text of the Liquid at any time. In terms of obviously product names and interval names and all of that, that's totally customizable. Same with emails, right? You can have the email text be whatever you want. And the customer portal today is English out of the box, but they're by creating kind of a customized MSP, you can have the language be whatever you want. So I'm not sure if that answers it. You can certainly customize some things, but not everything out of the box.
And that was a question that came up from someone about emails. Some more of the subscription email experience happens now in Shopify emails because Shopify is subscription aware. Yeah. So like the initial email, so Bold still handles some of the emails like recurrences or like updates or subscriptions being paused or something like that. Yeah. But some of it's offloaded onto Shopify, right? Yeah, that's correct. And I know Shopify is going to be doing a little bit more. So the initial order that goes through is going to potentially have a link saying, click here to create your account and manage your subscription if it detects that there's a subscription product in there. So I know they're going to be doing some things on their end. Of course, we have kind of a handful of key emails that go out, new subscriptions, credit card expiries, upcoming orders, things like that, that are a bit more subscriptions focused. So we still give you the option to send those. Okay, cool. Couple more here. Loyalty programs, will those record the Shopify sale with the new version? Yeah, I can't imagine they will. Why not? So now that everything's going through Shopify checkout, it should see, this is one of those things we were talking about earlier that like we haven't tested every single app in the App Store, but a lot of this stuff should just work now. Yeah, so most of those apps just rely on an order being created regardless of which checkout it goes through. So those should work regardless. Yeah. Someone is asking, another benefit of version 2 can now leverage Shopify delivery as it's going through Shopify checkout. I guess so. Yeah. Sure. Not sure, why not? Yeah. Shopify has arrangements with USPS, UPS, and there's Shopify shipping. Actually, unless this person, this is Scott, is talking about Shopify Fulfillment Network. I mean, it's creating an order in Shopify just like any other order. So I don't see why that wouldn't work. And we're not creating, if you notice now, in both subscriptions on the screen here, like there's no shipping or tax settings. That's all Shopify. That's everything as far as checkout's going, Shopify's handling. Mm-hmm. Someone's asking, answered that already. Will there be a way to prevent products from different subscription groups mixing into the same order? I'm trying to think of a scenario that this happens. Yeah. Like if there's two subscription groups going out on the same day. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure what mixing means. So there's no way of preventing products from more than one subscription group being added to the same checkout, if that's the question. Yeah, that's from Daniel. Daniel, if you want to specify, like if there are two subscriptions, if I have a subscription and they just happen to generate on the same day, it will generate two orders in Shopify, correct? It depends. So on that initial order, if the intervals match, then they will come in as a single subscription. If the intervals don't match, they will come in as two subscriptions. Gotcha. So if I have something that is a one subscription that's every week and one that's every month, if they happen to overlap and be on the same day on month 2 or whatever, it'll create one order in Shopify. So today it would create 2 because it is 2 subscriptions. I know Shopify is looking at ways of kind of being aware of orders from the same app coming at the same time and figuring out a way to combine those. So out of the box, we don't have that, but I think it might be coming. Okay. That's a good question though. Yeah. What is the worst, from Michelle, what's the worst case scenario if you run both V1 and V2 until migration is available? So we don't recommend it.
I guess the first thing is that we haven't really spent a ton of time fully testing it out, so I couldn't specifically tell you what won't work. I know that you would have to have a way of having 2 customer portals, directing customers to the right portal based on which version they subscribed on, and then overall the cart would be. I mean, it would be okay for new subscriptions. Yeah, I mean, generally we're not recommending it. I think we're going to do a lot more testing. If it is kind of a viable solution, we'll document kind of the best way of doing that. But I'm hoping a migration path is kind of available before you need to do that.
If I added, JP, this is a question from yours truly. If I added this to my menu item, subscription management, and I'm going to make it link to a page called my subscriptions.
Yeah.
Link here. Okay. So now if I save this, I should see this in my main. Where did I add that? I add that in my main menu.
Gotta go to
menu items.
There it is.
What did I do wrong here? Oh, I created a menu. Never mind. Sorry. I want to add it to main menu. Main menu. Add it in here. Add menu item. Manage subscriptions. I'm going to link to my subscription management page. I add this. Oops, I didn't check it. Page. My subscriptions. Okay. Save this. So now I've got a manage subscriptions link up here.
Yes.
Which will take me, as long as I'm logged in, it'll take me to here. If I'm not logged in, it'll take me to my account sign-in page, correct?
Not by default. I think it'll just tell you that you need to log in.
That tell you that you need to log in. Okay. So to this person's question, if I just had like 20 subscriptions with V1 and I just launched like a month ago and I'm like, crap, I got 20 subscriptions and I wish I would have waited a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Could I install V2, have all my new subscribers go through it, and just those 20 subscribers, their subscription should continue to run, but I could contact them and say, hey, we've launched a new version. If you need to modify your subscription, you have to contact customer support, and I could edit it in the admin of V1. And then I have one managed subscription page up here. And because I can edit this is a regular page, I could have a message up here saying, if you placed a subscription order before November 3rd, please contact us to edit your subscription.
Yeah, no, that
work, or am I?
Yeah, or I mean, if it's such a small number, if it's 20, you might literally just want to say, hey, could you please resubscribe? I'll give you a small discount for subscribing, and then just cancel all of them and get them to resubscribe. That would probably be easiest. But if you want to keep them, then yeah, that would certainly work.
Yeah, like I get if someone has 20,000 subscriptions, it's not going to make sense. But if they just launched within the last month and they've got, a couple dozen subscriptions, it might suck for them to wait till they can migrate. So they could, like, something like this could get them onto the new subscriptions now.
Yeah, I do want to reiterate that we haven't fully tested this, so I don't want to.
Yeah, I know. I kind of was like thinking about that as I was saying that. I don't want anyone, but like test it out. Do not delete version 1. Do not delete any subscriptions. You can install the Liquid on a backup theme of your store, test it out on there. So like everything is running, working. And when you have Bold Subscriptions V2 installed on a backup theme, you can place orders and check out and everything works. You can fully test it on a backup theme, right, JP?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So I would be one of those merchants that would cause you pain. I would try to do all these weird things. Okay, someone's asking, I use the app Gift Ship for gift notes and allowing to send multiple addresses from the same order. It currently doesn't work because of the Stripe checkout. Do you think this will work now because there's no Stripe checkout? So this is from Lisa, and if this works with Shopify checkout, I'm not familiar with Gift Ship, but if it works with Shopify's normal native checkout, it should work. But
yeah, it's one of those, yeah, like theoretically it should. We haven't tested it, but yeah, I mean, it would be worth checking out. Yeah,
so I don't know. I know there's a lot of shipping plugins that calculate shipping logic and do different things for shipping, because you can build an app that integrates with checkout that alters shipping for situations like this. How much it integrates, I don't fully know, though. I would test it. Tom is asking, hey Jay, hey Tom, that's exactly the scenario I suggested to someone today and yesterday to run V2 and V2 simultaneously. See, Tom, that's why me and you think alike. You're a smart guy, Tom. Yeah, and I think untested. Well, Tom, let me know how it goes. You can be our official guinea pig. Yeah, I think and I would suggest that as well too. But I would test everything, and I wouldn't do it if there's thousands of subscribers. But if someone just launched a couple months ago and they have a small handful and they really want to migrate, I would test it. Farah is asking. Oh no, that's sorry, the same person. I use gift. How about? Sorry. Farah is replying to Lisa saying, I used gift ship. It does work with Shopify native unless you are shipping to multiple addresses. Okay, so thanks, Farah. Farah, that's in response to Lisa. Adam's asking, any plans for launching this in India, as there are no Shopify payments yet? Yeah, this is going to come up a lot, I think, in countries where Shopify payments isn't supported. This is going to be a good question for Shopify, and I think one of the things that's probably going to push them to, for sure, add a couple more gateways to support the countries that Shopify payments doesn't support, because from our side, there isn't anything, but this might be a case, Adam, where Shopify might say V1 is okay. So like V1 is still perfectly fine. It works. You just can't install it, and we can't help you install it. It has to be one-off approved by Shopify. So, it might be a scenario that they approve it because there's no physical way you can run subscriptions. But don't quote me on that. But we can look into that for you.
There have been a couple of questions about Cashier. Do you want to handle that? What happens with Cashier?
What happens with it, or? Yeah,
people who are either using Cashier or want to use Cashier.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, Cashier is similar. So I guess Shopify has kind of taken a stance that they don't want carte blanche allowing people to install third-party checkouts, and this happened, I don't know, but 6 months ago, maybe earlier this year. So, which is why Shopify is really working hard to make their checkout solve some of the problems that Cashier did. Cashier still does solve a lot of unique scenarios for merchants that otherwise wouldn't be solved, and that's why, like if you're running, there's a ton of different scenarios, but basically anyone that has Cashier, which we refer to now as bold checkout, you're fine. You can keep it installed. It's not going to get automatically removed. You no longer can just install it in your store. It has to be approved on one-off basis. There is generally a GMV threshold you have to meet. So, just a store getting started today wouldn't be able to install it. But as a general rule, if you're a larger store and you have a very good case why you need it, then it's usually okay. But you have to talk to us, talk to our sales team, and we can help you with that. But it's no longer just available to be installed through a link like off our website. So, yeah. I think I caught most of them. Hey, JP, they're coming in all over. I know we're a little bit over time here already. Wherever this is streaming to, feel free to post questions on there. We'll monitor. It's on our Facebook page. It's in our Facebook group. It's in a number of Shopify Facebook groups. It's on Twitter. It's on YouTube. Wherever you're watching it, feel free to type a question there, and we'll be checking and following up, and we'll try to answer everything there. Also, do I have it on my screen here? No, I don't have it. It's if you're thinking about so if you have Bold subscriptions and you need help, you can go to support.boldcommerce.com. And if you aren't using Bold subscriptions and you have questions about it, you can email solutions@boldcommerce.com. Actually, I can throw that up on the screen here. Do I have it? Oh, this is a different slide. No, I don't have it. But support.boldcommerce.com is for support. solutions@boldcommerce.com is if you have questions about installing it and you're not currently using it, it's not a support question. We can answer it there as well too.
Really quickly, I've had the question come up a few times. When can I migrate? So I just want to reiterate, we don't currently have a migration plan available for V1 merchants. As soon as we do, we'll let you know. It will only be Stripe merchants to begin with. So we'll do sign up. There's a kind of a link on our blog where you can sign up to be updated. Throw your email address in there, and we'll be sure to let you know when things are available.
There's my screen, JP. Now you can see it. Do I have the right one? Bam. There it is.
Yeah, solutions,
so that's where you want to contact.
If you have a dev store, partners at boldcommerce.com.
Yes. Yeah. And that would be for if you have a dev store that you need whitelisted or anything else.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we'll leave it here, JP. Hopefully this was helpful for some of you guys. Thank you for all the amazing questions that came in. It's exciting to see all the interest, and by no means is this the end of the conversation. If you guys have questions, reach out on any channel and we are more than happy to help. We don't charge for our help and support, as someone asked earlier. We're just always happy to help. Thank you guys so much for your interest in Bold and your support and for being a merchant. And I just want to say, I wish you guys all the best this holiday season. It feels like from our side at Bold that the volume, like the traffic levels are spiking already. So I feel like it's Black November, not just going to be Black Friday. A lot of people are starting the sales early. So I just want to say I wish everyone the best holiday season they've ever had. So thanks for watching, everyone.
Thank you.